Thank you very much. Look, I think that President Trump's decision to accept this foreign plane is really an outrageous bribe under no circumstances. And I also, by the way, think it is a huge security vulnerability on this plane. This amendment that the Senator's office offers would prevent the Department of Defense from wasting any more precious taxpayer resources on a truly corrupt and, I believe, wasteful endeavor.
I appreciate the bipartisan words. But with all due respect, Madam Vice Chair, when you say that the President of the United States has been bribed,
I said potential.
that's pretty strong. And I think if you're going to say someone has been bribed or someone is corrupt, you ought to be specific. And I notice you haven't been.
Senator Kennedy just did what so many in Washington refused to do. He called out reckless claims and demanded facts. When Senator Murray threw around words like bribed and corrupt, Kennedy didn't let it slide. He pushed back with the truth. If you're going to accuse the president or an official of something that's serious, you better come with receipts. That's why this moment matters. It cuts through political noise and puts accountability back in the spotlight. If you're tired of baseless mudslinging and want leaders who stick to facts, smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment on whether you think Kennedy handled this exactly right.
Thank you very much. Look, I think that President Trump's decision to accept this foreign plane is really an outrageous bribe. Under no circumstances should our taxpayers be on the hook for this massive cost to modify and use a foreign plane as Air Force One. The funding that Congress appropriates in this bill should take care of our service members and provide them with cutting-edge capabilities, not spent unnecessarily to retrofit a royal plane. This is massively wasteful, and actually the next generation Air Force One is already in the pipeline. And I also, by the way, think it is a huge security vulnerability on this plane. This amendment that the Senator's office offers would prevent the Department of Defense from wasting any more precious taxpayer resources on a truly corrupt and, I believe, wasteful endeavor. So I hope my colleagues vote yes.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't really have a dog in this hunt. I think, like Senator McConnell, we ought to be driven by the numbers. And in order to be driven by the numbers, you've got to have the numbers first. But I've sat here this morning, and I appreciate the bipartisan words. But with all due respect, Madam Vice Chair, when you say that the President of the United States has been bribed,
I said potential.
that's pretty strong. When you say that the director of the Office of Management and Budget is corrupt, that's pretty strong. And I think if you're going to say someone has been bribed or someone is corrupt, you ought to be specific. And I notice you haven't been. And I don't think this is, I've listened to a lot of pretty words about bipartisanship, but then we get personal. I don't think it's productive. It's up to you. This is America. You can say and believe what you want. But if you're going to say somebody's been bribed, you need to say specifically by whom, for what. If you say Russ vote is corrupt, I want to know what that means, with all due respect.
Now let's get into it. I respect what Senator Kennedy did here because he reminded everyone of a basic rule. Accusations without evidence are just cheap shots. Senator Murray didn't just question policy. She went straight to accusing the president of being bribed and calling the OMB director corrupt. Those aren't small words. Those are charges that, if true, would shake the entire government. And here's where Kennedy stood firm. He didn't grandstand. He didn't get emotional. He simply asked for specifics. By whom? For what? What does corrupt mean? Those are fair questions. Because in America, when you throw bombs like that, you need proof. Otherwise, it's not bipartisanship. It's just poison. What I love most about Kennedy's style is that he doesn't hide behind flowery language. He's plain-spoken, almost folksy, but razor-sharp. He basically said, look, if you're going to talk big, back it up with facts. If not, don't drag down the credibility of this hearing. That's leadership. Let's be real, both parties are guilty of this sometimes. They'll talk about working together, then sneak in personal attacks. Kennedy spotted it and said what most Americans watching were probably thinking. Enough with the games. Give us the truth, not slogans. And that's why his words hit hard. He's not defending corruption. He's defending fairness. He's saying, if you're going to make accusations, put names, actions, and evidence on the table. Otherwise, all you're doing is spreading distrust in government without any accountability. At the end of the day, Kennedy stood up for something we desperately need in politics: clarity. You don't get to throw around words like bribed or corrupt casually. Either prove it or keep it out of the discussion. That's the mark of a serious lawmaker who values truth over theater. So in my opinion, Kennedy wasn't just defending numbers or process, he was defending the integrity of debate itself. And for that, he deserves credit. So what do you think? Did Senator Kennedy strike the right balance by demanding specifics instead of letting baseless accusations fly? Let me know in the comments. And if you're with me in believing that facts should always come before finger pointing, hit that subscribe button and share this video, because this is the kind of leadership America needs more of.